Greetings and welcome to the Blackwater Cantina. Hopefully you're here because you're interested in learning how to play Warmachine, or you've seen it being played in the local store and you're thinking, right, is this the game for me? What army do I start with? Where do I go? How do I get into this game? Then hopefully this is the video for you. We're going to do a series of these, going through all the different armies, the different factions, talking about their command starter sets, usually the first set you buy into for an army, how that works, some big synergies in it, and how to expand on next. So today we're going to talk about the Dusk House Kallyss starter, the Ghosts of Ios. So come and join me for a sad tale of some elves that are not having a very good time right now. So, first of all, is this the army for you? What are we talking about here? This is the Dusk House Kallyss command starter, also referred to as the Ghosts of Ios. So this force contains elite stealthy elves that are available for the House Kallyss army, and only House Kallyss. In contrast to the majority of the rest of House Kallyss, the ghosts are not actually undead or soulless. They represent elves that were outside of Ios at the time of the Sundering, when the elves gods died, driving all of the elves who are still alive to either die in a big psychic backlash or become undead eldritch creatures, kind of like vampires. So, vampire elves, this is the faction for you. The Ghosts of Ios were outside of their kingdom and as such weren't affected by this. They are still alive, still have souls, and are the last of the normal elves on the planet, or in the Iron Kingdoms entirely. The general army, House Kallyss, focuses on elite infantry that hit very hard, kind of like the Ghosts of Ios, or are very tough fighters, like the Dreadguard, which are the vampire infantry, and they're supported by some debuff heavy tactics. They like to hit hard and hit fast. So, all models in this command starter set are 3D printed resin, so these are available from Steamroller or your local hobby store, and they come as 3D printed models. They're not available as STLs, you have to buy them already printed. So, in the box, your Warcaster is Moraine, riding her Ulk, called Sivash. She brings her big once per game ability, or feat, to get rid of all upkeep spells on everyone, friendly and enemy, so dispelling any buffs and debuffs and everything like that that's going on, and then cast her own spells in return to make sure all of her forces are powered up and your enemy is weakened. One of her favourite spells is one called Mortality. It's an excellent debuff, reducing your enemy's defense and armor, making them much easier to hit and kill. Her mount makes her a cavalry model, so she's fast, she can reposition after she's done all of her actions, and then she can get herself back to safety if she needs to. She also has the ability to cast spells for free whenever one of her own friendly Ghost of Ios models is killed. So that will allow you to do some shenanigans casting spells on your opponent's turn, which they might not be expecting. She is a fantastic caster and one of the more powerful ones for House Kallyss. Then, the Warjack in the box is called the Spectre. It is a light Warjack. We say that with a pinch of salt, it's quite tough. It has innate stealth, which means it's harder to shoot. People have to get a lot closer before they can take shots at this little guy. And it has the Duelist ability, which means when it's in combat, it's incredibly hard to hit. And the fact that it's actually well armoured and has a shield giving it even better armour, and has an elven field generator, meaning it can spend any focus points on it to ignore some damage. What it lacks in offensive ability, it makes up for in survivability. This thing isn't going to be killing your enemy's army, but what it is going to do is be a great doorstop and hold objectives. Then, the solo in the box is Valus, also known as the Hand of Morning. There's actually two models for this character. Initially, she is a caster, she has no attacks at all, but she is a support piece, so she can return dead models to unit, heal models, and even take hits for other models as well. So she can prevent people taking damage, or those key friendly models getting shot when you don't need them to be. If your enemy decides to get rid of her by killing her, then she becomes the Avenging Spirit, the second model that's included in this box. It's a big ghostly model, She gains corrosive melee attacks, extra damage against models that are already damaged or injured, and some teleport abilities to allow her to move up quickly and get away when she needs to. Also, being a ghost, she's incorporeal, which means she's immune to most non-magical weapons. Fantastic little model there. Another solo in the team is the Mage Hunter Sniper team. So this brings a nice long-range threat to the box. It's a selection of different shot types, allowing it to do anywhere from dealing additional damage, removing those enemy upkeep spells, or even ignoring line of sight so you can take out those key enemy support pieces efficiently and effectively. You get a squad of Mage Hunter Rangers, the first of 2 of the units in the box. These are another long-range unit. They're especially effective at dealing with enemy light infantry. Every time they kill, getting an extra shot, and then with the sniper rule, that also prevents enemies' tougher units from taking their saves to be not killed, basically. Very good at removing those. And then the final pieces in here are the Mage Hunter Assassins. These are chain-wielding heavy hitters. They have a very high move speed and a very long reach for melee weapons. And once they beat your opponent's armor, any damage is doubled. So they can very, very quickly remove high damage models, take down enemy jacks, take down enemy heavy infantry. They're fantastic at that. And should they kill an enemy model in combat, they can become incorporeal, which then renders them immune to non-magical attacks, meaning they're not going to get hit back quite as hard. So, how does this all work together? There's some good synergies in here. The box calls out several of its own components to basically work well together. So, other than the Spectre, everyone in the box has the ability Prowl, meaning that whenever they're in concealment, they get stealth, which makes them much harder to shoot. Moraine has an ability called Fog of War, which gives everyone nearby her concealment, rendering her army very safe from shooting. So in smaller games, you can easily keep your whole force inside this bubble. It will keep you safe from most shooting. The only thing to watch out for there is area of effect. That will still trigger blast damage and can take out your very lightly armoured troops. So watch out for that. Mortality, I touched on it earlier, reduces your opponent's defense and armor, making them easier to hit, easier to damage. So when we look back at the Mage Hunter Assassins, once they beat the armor stat, they're dealing double damage, which means you've reduced that armor, making that easier to beat. It effectively, rather than just reducing it by 2, they're dealing 2 extra points of damage, which becomes 4. So that's an extra 12 points of damage out of the unit. That'll easily topple something big. That's easily an extra thing removed or war beast damaged. They'll easily deliver a jack to the scrap heap on the charge, especially as they have chain weapons that ignore enemy shields as well, so they lose any armor buffs for that. And they're magical weapons, so they can hit incorporeal targets. Excellent all round. One of the abilities that Moraine also has, it's called Funeral Rites. When a friendly Ghost of Ios model dies, then she gets to cast a spell for free. And one of her wonderful spells, it's called Spirit Door, allows her to teleport. She can either teleport the Spectre back to her, or herself to the Spectre, or any jack in her battle group once you expand the army. So, if when your enemy's trying to get hold of your caster, make sure that you've got a friendly Ghosts of Ios model nearby, use them to block a charge lane. When they kill that model, teleport to safety, get away. Fantastic. You can also use it on your own turn to get yourself back to safety easily when you've engaged or not managed to finish your target off or left yourself exposed. Teleport to safety. One thing to watch out is Moraine's feat allows her to dispel all enemy upkeeps and then cast one spell of her own for free for each upkeep she dispels. So don't be too keen to use the dispel shot on the sniper team. Make sure you're using that tactically. Make sure you're only going after the thing you need to with it, because you could be costing yourself a free cast of a spell. So bear that in mind. A lot of the weapons in this box are also blessed weapons, which will ignore your opponent's buff spells as well. So give that a thought when you're looking at which of those sniper team shots to use. The brutal damage for extra damage dice is a fantastic one, as is the Phantom Seeker, allowing you to, let's say, clear out those support pieces when you need to. So, we've played a bunch of games with this. We're happy with everything we've got. We love the elves. What do we get next? Okay, well, there's one Ghost of Ios model that's not in the box. That is the Mage Hunter Commander. He is, again, a support piece. He's got some good melee attacks, a good ranged attack as well, but he also has some fantastic abilities that can synergize and help keep your guys alive. He's able to give out tough, and he's able to remove enemy stealth as well, so allow you to shoot things at longer ranges. So he's a fantastic addition to what you have already, and is another Ghost of Ios model, so triggers any of the... Another good choice, a second copy of the Command Starter. Now, this will double up on the units. Obviously, you have a spare Moraine and Valus. They're both characters. You wouldn't be able to use those models a second time. But having a second unit of the Mage Hunters, Assassins, the Rangers, a second sniper team is always a strong choice. I do tend to include a lot of those in a lot of lists. So that will easily get you to 50 points to play some larger games and keep you with the synergies you're used to, just on a larger scale. If you're looking for something a little bit different to add in, then the auxiliary expansion provides those Dreadguard heavy infantry. These are the vampires that we spoke about earlier. These are tougher, more survivable infantry. They still pack a punch, but they're a bit tougher and are able to take a few hits before going down, have the tough ability so can stay alive, are much better targets for reviving because they are tougher and harder to get rid of. So, all quite useful. It also gives you the Dreadguard Cavalry. These are generally considered to be the strongest unit in Dusk. They're fast, they hit like a truck, they are a fantastic piece. They will pick off pretty much anything you need to get rid of. They can go and deal with it, especially when supported by Moraine mortality on your target. So bear that in mind. It will also, the Dreadguard box will give you Tyrus as well, another caster, so you can mix up your combos, mix up the playstyle of your army. He's got a lot more spells. He is a more spell-focused caster, but he can also handle it in melee as well. He is on foot, so he's not as fast, but does give you some extra threat range, or can move your models with his feet to give you that extra little bit of range to get hold of the targets you need to. So allows you to mix up those. And then another option would be the Final Hunt. So this is another box of living elves called the Nis. These have a sad tale. I've got a link to their own video up here for them. It'll give you a few more defensive options and another heavy hitter. So bear that in mind. There is a whole another video on those. They are a command starter in themselves that can work with both House Kallyss and the upcoming Fane of Nero army. So put out for that. Then another box that could be a good option, which will give you another different flavour of House Kallyss, is the core expansion. This gives you the soulless infantry. So these are elves that were born without any kind of soul, without any connection to their gods. They were not affected in the Sundering and are used as sort of chaff and fodder. They are the light, cheap infantry that House Kallyss deploys in battle. It will give you some great shield guard units to protect you from shooting, some ranged and combat units in there as well. Also gives you the character Jack Israfil. He is generally considered one of our better jacks. He is strong, has big whip, chain arms as well. He hits hard and again has the field generator, so he can be quite tough to remove as well. And then the additional caster in there is Hazaroth. The only thing with him is he works very well alongside the Dreadguard infantry, which if you've just gone straight into the core expansion you won't have yet, so would probably consider the auxiliary expansion over the core as an expansion route. But Hazaroth is a caster that likes to run lots of heavy infantry and a high number of jacks. So once you start expanding, he becomes a very powerful caster. Yeah. Hope you've enjoyed this quick whirlwind tour of the Ghosts of Ios. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments. We want to help everyone out as much as we can. Hopefully, we'll speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.